Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because this is a really awesome deck that actually took second place during the Create a Card tournament, which is a really cool thing that Konami actually did, where people got to vote to be able to see what was going to be the new card that was going to be created for that particular poll, which was really, really neat. And this deck actually took second, Photon took second, which is a really cool thing, and I'm really excited to show you guys this deck because it makes so many cool rank 8s and has so many new cool cards coming out very soon, and I wanted to go ahead and profile it for you guys. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below because we have some awesome rewards you guys, like getting your name in the description for every single video, getting signed cards sent in the mail, or even getting a requested deck profile every single month to your patron along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. So Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, pretty much, you're going to use special summon this card a lot in the deck, and special summon it through a lot of different means. You usually don't special summon it off of its own effect, but to special summon this card from your hand, you have to tribute 2 monsters with 2,000 or more attack, and then you just instantly special summon it to your side of the field. Now, it does have a really cool effect when it attacks. During either player's damage step, when this card battles an opponent's monster, you can target the monster this card's battling and banish both it and this card, and then any monster banished by this effect returns to the field at the end of the battle phase. And if this card banished by this card effect was an XZ monster, this card gains 500 attack for each material the XZ monster had when it was banished, which is really good to be able to counter a lot of XZ's based strategies. We then played 2 copies of Galaxy Knight. Galaxy Knight has a really cool effect that if you control a Photon or a Galaxy monster, you can almost summon this card without tributing, and then when you do, you get to target 1 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in your graveyard if possible. Regardless, this card loses 1,000 attack points, and if it does, you special summon that Galaxy Eyes onto your side of the field in defense position. And this attack decrease lasts until the end phase, so at the end phase, it gains it back. We then played 2 copies of Galaxy Brave. Galaxy Brave is a really neat card that helps you get it out on your side of the field to help you make some really good rank 8 plays. So what this card does is if this card's in your hand, you can reveal a Photon monster, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, its level becomes the same as that Photon monster in your hand. And if this card is normal summoned or special summoned, you can target a Galaxy monster in your graveyard, and this card's attack and defense becomes equal to that Galaxy monster. So you have a card like Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon that has 4,000, you can make this card go all the way up to 4,000 attack points, which is ridiculously good. We then play 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier. Galaxy Soldier is a really good card in this particular deck because it has such a great effect to be able to search other Galaxy monsters. Because you get to send a light monster from your hand to the graveyard, then special summon this card from your hand in defense position. And when this card is special summoned, you get to add any Galaxy monster from your deck to your hand. From Galaxy Eyes Photon, Galaxy Soldier, Galaxy Brave, even copies of other stuff that you have in your deck like Galaxy Wizard. It's just overall a really, really good card to have in the deck. We then play 2 copies of Photon Thrasher. Getting into the Photon monsters, Photon Thrasher is really good because it's kind of like Cyber Dragon. To special summon it to your side of the field, and it has 2,100 attack, but it can attack other monsters if you control another monster, which is not that big of a deal. It can attack if you control another monster because you're usually going to use this for XZ's material or Link material. We then play 3 copies of Photon Vanisher, which are arguably one of the best cards in the entire deck, because this card is so good at special summoning itself to your side of the field. It can't be normal summoner set. It must be special summoned from your hand while you control a Photon or a Galaxy monster. It cannot be special summoned by other ways. And it also has the ability that it cannot attack the turn it was special summoned. You can only special summon Galaxy Vanisher once per turn, and if this card is special summoned, you get to add a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from your deck to your hand. And a XZ monster using this card as a material has the ability that it gains the following effect: banish any monster destroyed by battle with this card, which is a really, really good effect, especially for certain cards that get graveyard effects when they're destroyed. We then play 3 copies of Photon Orbital. Don't worry guys, this card is going to be getting a reprint in January, so it's not that far away, but you do need to play this card as a 3-up. But what it does is during your main phase, you can target Photon or a Galaxy monster, and you equip this card from your hand or your field to that monster, and it gains 500 attack. And also, you can send this card to the graveyard to add a Photon or Galaxy card from your deck to your hand, except another copy of Photon Orbital. It's really good for consistency and helping you search in the deck. We then play a single copy of Galaxy Wizard. I just like playing 1 Galaxy Wizard, because if I can special summon out to my side of the field a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon or a Galaxy Soldier or Brave, and I can copy its level to be a particular, like, 8 to get him up to 8, or if I summon out a copy of Galaxy Wizard, you can increase its level by 4 to get it to 8, which is super helpful just to be able to get it up to that maximum amount, so you can get out plenty of your Xyz monsters. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom comes in pretty handy in this deck as well, because the Ash Blossoms just deal with opponent stuff that you don't want to have to deal with. And then we play 3 copies of Nibiru, or 2 copies of Nibiru, excuse me. 2 copies of Nibiru is really good in this deck too, because it just helps deal with your opponent's field, and you make monsters that can instantly pop the token on your opponent's side of the field. It is a light monster, so it's really easy to use as a link material as well. And having a 3k body on the field is really nice, because you can tribute it off to summon your Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon extremely easily. It's overall a really good card in this deck, because it helps board wipe your opponent once they've established a board, and then you can just pop the token by overlaying 2 monsters and going into a copy of Full Armor Photon, or a copy of your Cypher Blade Dragon as well, to be able to pop cards on your opponent's side of the field, which can pop the Nibiru token, which is pretty good. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Galaxy Zero, which is essentially a monster reborn for a Photon or a Galaxy monster. You equip it to that monster and its attack becomes 0, which is not that big of a deal. When this card leaves the field, its attack becomes 0. It's not that big of a deal, because basically you're just trying to revive it to use it as material. It's a good one-of. I probably wouldn't play it any more than one, though. We then play a single copy of Galaxy Trance. Galaxy Trance is kind of cool to help you make rank 4 plays and rank 8 plays, because it lets you pay 2,000 life points, target a Photon and a Galaxy monster, both a Galaxy monster, and you special summon the Photon from your graveyard, and you special summon a Galaxy from your deck with the same level, both in defense position, and if you do, each monster's attack becomes 2,000. Also, their effects are negated, and you cannot normal summon or special summon monsters during the turn you activate this, except for Galaxy Eyes, or Galaxy or Photon monsters, which is, again, not that big of a deal, because you're trying to get those out on the field to make rank 8 plays, or even make a rank 4 play, or a link play. We then play 3 copies of Galaxy Expedition. Galaxy Expedition is probably the best spell in the entire deck, because it essentially makes you a free rank 8 play. If you control a level 5 or higher Photon or Galaxy monster, then you can special summon a level 5 or higher Photon or Galaxy monster from your deck in defense position. It's that simple. This card is extremely simplistic in what it does, and it's just overall a really good card to help you get your Galaxy Eyes on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Photon Sanctuary. Photon Sanctuary gives you 2 tokens that have 2,000 attack points apiece, which you use as link material to go into Soul Flare Dragon as quickly as possible for its amazing effect. You can't use them as synchro material, but we don't synchro summon this deck at all, so it doesn't matter. We then play 3 copies of Trade-In, because you play plenty of rank 8 targets. I think you play a total of 8 rank 8 targets between the 3 copies of your Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, your 2 copies of Galaxy Brave, and your 2 copies of Galaxy Knight. Excuse me, that's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 targets for your trade-in, so you have plenty of targets to go in with your copies of trade-in to be able to draw deep into this deck and be able to get cards as quickly as possible. So, that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Tachyon Transmigration. Tachyon Transmigration is an amazing trap card in this deck. It's basically a speed spell 3 that can negate everything that your opponent activates previously in the chain. So if you get up to a chain link 4 and your opponent chains all sorts of cards during their turn, then you've set this the previous turn, you can just activate this card directly from your hand and negate every single card that came before it that was your opponent's, which is amazing. Because if you control a Galaxy Eyes monster, you can get the activation of your opponent's spells and trap cards and monster effects before this card in a chain. And if you do, you shuffle the negated cards into the deck as well, so they have to redraw them or put them back in the extra deck. It depends on what cards they have. And it's just an overall crazy counter trap. It's probably one of the best counter traps in the entire game for shuffling them back into the deck. Then we play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is just such a good hand trap in this game. It's so good, and I really like playing Infinite Impermanence to drop it against your opponent, to be able to stop them from doing all sorts of crazy plays, and it just is really good, especially with the OTK-based strategy. If you can stop your opponent from going in on the first turn, and you go second in this deck, because this is a very going second-ish deck, it's just overall really, really nice to activate that Infinite Impermanence against your opponent and stop what they're doing. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of number 62. I bumped number 62 down. I just didn't feel like I needed quite as many of them. You can play it at 2 if you want to, but I just like playing it as a 1-of. I will tell you guys in a few minutes what you're going to be seeing to drop. I will point it out as we're going through the extra deck, what you can drop out to play a second copy of number 62. I'm still kind of on the fence for dropping it down, but there was a really cool tech card that I wanted to play in its place, so definitely be on the lookout for that. This card's a really cool card that can go all the way up to 8,000 attack, and it revives itself as well, which is a really cool card, and it's a 4K beat stick as well. We then play a single copy of Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon, which takes your opponent's cards off their side of the field and uses them on your side of the field. Like, it can take control of an opponent's monster, which is really cool just to be able to take an opponent's monster. We play a single copy of Full Armor Photon. You can actually overlay this on top of either of these two monsters to be able to get to a 4,000 beat stick that can pop a card on the field, which is overall a really, really good effect. One copy of Cypher Blade Dragon. Cypher Blade Dragon can rank up on top of any Galaxy Eyes Xyz monster you control, which is pretty cool for free. And then you can once per turn detach material from this card to target a card on the opponent's field and destroy it, which is just overall a really, really good effect. One copy of number 38, Hope Harboring Dragon Titanic Galaxy. Dragon Titanic Galaxy is really good to negate spell cards, which is overall just a really good effect in this deck to give you additional negations alongside your copies of, like, Ash Blossom and Infinite Impermanence, and even Cyber Dragon Infinity. Speaking of negations, we play a single copy of number 90, Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. Photon Lord's pretty good because it has the ability that when an opponent's monster activates its effect, you can quick effect detach material from this card and negate the activation. And if the detached material is a Galaxy Eyes card, you destroy the card as well, which is really, really, really good to be able to activate that effect to be able to negate stuff. Then we play a single copy of number 97, Dragibolan. This card's really good too because it helps you get a big beat stick on your side of the field to go all the way up to 9,000 base when it's summoned, which is really cool. You take 2 dragon monsters with different names from your extra deck or your graveyard, except another copy of number 97, and special summon one of them and attach the other one as a material, but none of your monsters can attack except for that monster, which is not that big of a deal because we have plenty of cards to be able to attach to it. So then we play a single copy of number 100, which is the card that you get up to the 9,000. You just detach a material from this card, and it has the ability that it will gain attack equal to the amount of ranks on the field times 1,000. So base, it's going to have 1 with itself, and then 8 with your copy of number 97. So it's going to go straight up to 9,000 right off the bat. Not to mention if you have another Galaxy Eyes rank 8 on the field, it'll go all the way up to 17,000 just with those 2 monsters on the field, or 3 monsters. We then play a single copy of number 92, Heart Earth Dragon. Heart of the Dragon is a card that's kind of weird in this deck, but I really like it. This was the card that I was mentioning that was a good tech card. Now, what I do with this is I use the copy of number 97 to actually summon this card, because I'll summon out a copy of, say, for instance, at number 62, or a copy of my number 100, and I'll attach one of those as a material to number 92, because it's really hard to get rid of on your side of the field, because it can't be destroyed by battle. Also, your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving this card. And then during your opponent's end phase, you can detach a material from this card to banish all cards your opponent controls that were normal summoned or special summoned or set this turn. And this card, and if this card is destroyed while it has Xyz material, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, and then when you do, it gains 1,000 attack for each card currently banished, which, depending on the deck you're playing against, this card can be really, really devastating against them, which is why I play it as a 1-of in here. And I'm thinking about playing it in more decks that I'm actually going to be playing number 97 in, because you can just throw this card out on the field, and it's pretty nuts to be able to throw this card on the field because it can't be destroyed by battle, and your opponent takes any battle damage from battles involving it. We then play a single copy of Infinity, which is really easy to summon, 2 copies of Galaxy Soldier, and a single copy of Cyber Dragon Nova. You make the Nova, and then you overlay the Infinity, and it gives you a negation, and it can gobble up an attack position monster. One copy of Star Liege Photon Blast Dragon. This card is really easy to summon. It's the only rank 4 that you actually play in the deck, because it has the ability that if this card is Xyz summon, you could special summon a Photon monster from your hand, and then while this card, Xyz summon card, is on the field, your opponent cannot target monsters you control with 2,000 or more attack with card effects, and also they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either. And then once per turn, you can detach a material from this card, and then you get to target a card, or a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon that's banished or in your graveyard, and you instantly get to revive it back to your side of the field, which is pretty good just to be able to revive it onto your side of the field. We then play 2 copies of Galaxy Eyes Soulflare Dragon. I did bump this card down to 2. It's totally fine at 2. It's really good, actually, at 2. And if this card is link summon, you get to target a Galaxy Eyes or Galaxy or a Photon monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. And then during your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect discard a Photon or a Galaxy card that you just added back, or discard a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, and then target a special summon monster your opponent controls and destroy it. And that's a quick effect as well to give you an additional pop on your side of the field. I cannot tell you how many times my opponent has not read this card and I just pop something on the field. It's just an overall insane link monster, and the artwork is fantastic and gorgeous. We then play a single copy of Union Carrier. Union Carrier is really good in this deck too, because you can equip Photon Orbital to one of your monsters to be able to send it to the graveyard, or let it gain the 1,000 attack points, and then you can send it to the graveyard if you want to boost it up or to be able to grab a Galaxy Eyes from the deck. If you don't, you just leave it on there to boost that monster up by an additional 1,000 attack. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a really neat deck to play around with. It's basically the most extreme-based rank 8 deck, and probably one of the most consistent rank 8 decks. It's really, really easy to summon out, and I'm actually kind of glad that this deck lost out to Inzektor's, because this deck is going to get more support soon, and Inzektor's had nothing on the radar. It's a good deck, don't get me wrong, and it's super fun, but it just doesn't need the support like Inzektor's needed it. But it's overall just an amazing and fun deck, and I love playing around with Galaxy Eyes. So, anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell next so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon in the description below, because we have awesome rewards for you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.